Welcome back. This is Bo with Big Moves Podcast. I am the CEO and founder of Belwood Investments, and a bit of a benchmark today, milestone, if you will. This is episode 20, so cheers to you, and thank you for listening in to our real estate investment focused podcast. We explore the ins and outs of real estate investments, single family, multifamily, a little bit of mixed use. We even owned an RV park and a resort. So a lot of adventures that we've been able to participate in and bring investors along with us. So today, what we're talking about is Athens, Greece, and investing globally, right? Belwood is actually an international company. Yay! Yeah, so we recently got our tax identification number from Greece, which was a huge accomplishment. So we had to go through some hoops and hire an attorney. And so now we can buy real estate in Greece, which is super cool. Now, why is it super cool? Well, one thing is Belwood's always looking for a deal. And that doesn't change if we're here in sunny Southern California, if we're in gloomy Sacramento. Just kidding. We love Sacramento. But at any rate, we're always looking for a deal. And in Athens, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. If those of you who've been kind of looking at different world markets and whatnot, or different economies, Greece hasn't had the best run of luck for a little bit of time now. And now it's on the bounce back. It really is. So what we're seeing is an opportunity for us to buy real estate at an affordable price in a historically well-known area. Now, why do you say, historically well-known? Well, I don't know, maybe because it's Athens, Greece. There's something called Acropolis, right? There's amazing architecture. Some would say the birthplace of modern architecture is here. And I'll just reference something. We were walking with our partner over there who was upper level with Home Depot. And he moved back to Greece and he started an investment company and basically preparing Belwood to go over there. And so we're walking through one of the huge, courtyard areas, turnabout, historic buildings. And I said, wow, that's got a bit of a French influence, doesn't it? And that's got a bit of a Spanish influence. He goes, Bo, you got it all wrong. He goes, they got it from us. That building right there is 2,000 years old. That one's almost 3,000 years old. And I said, whoa, you're right. So it was a bit of an eye-opening experience and something that is really cool and something that we want to participate in. Now, we don't want to forge a new direction in one of these historical areas. I mean, it already has a direction, already has a purpose. And that purpose is to showcase its historical treasures, which is Acropolis, which is the Colosseum, right? The first Olympic, games were played in, which is just a massive thing, right? There's a huge harbor there that is able to accommodate cruise ships, right? So it's got a steady influx of customers, right? Clientele. Now, what's unique about Athens is you really can't just clear a square block. They're really not direct blocks, in some of these areas. They're very small streets and whatnot. To build a Marriott, you just can't do that. You're not going to see a big old Hilton next to Acropolis. What you're going to see is, these little villages or small little segments of Athens, the south side or the back side of Athens, which was super cute, and the east side and the way. I mean, so Athens being the centerpiece. So land is scarce to come upon. You're not going to just see vacant land laying around here. It's been bought, stacked upon for thousands of years, many owners. And which is part of the difficulty in buying real estate over there is locating who owns this thing, right? It changed hands 300 times. So with that being said, you have to have attorneys on stand there, or on standby there, which we do have them. So there's not much real estate. It is very scarce. These lots are owned by families for a very long period of time, and you're not going to be able to get anything more than an Airbnb out of it, to be quite frank. You might be able to get 5, 6 units in some of them. Sometimes you'll be able to get something larger, and we looked at some of those. We looked at one that was like 15 units, and it was a couple $1,000,000. Now, if this was anywhere over here, it'd be worth 10 or $15 million. But there, it was much more affordable. And yes, there is a demand for it, because the demand is people reading textbooks, through their textbooks, about history and archaeology and architecture, and they're seeing this place called Athens, Greece. So it will always be a tourist attraction. Okay, so we don't want to pave a new way and say, but have you looked at the islands of Greece? They're so much more beautiful. Yes, I know they're beautiful. Yes, there's money to be made out there. But I don't want to take even the slightest risk of investing out there. Why? Because I know that they're not just going to remove the Acropolis from textbooks. Therefore, millions and millions, if not billions of people will be reading about this treasured location and wanting to visit it. I just want to give a few of them a place to rest their head, maybe a beverage to drink, maybe a snack. These structures are literally, they're super cool, right? You have a lower mixed use, right? Basically, what we're doing here in America is finally making sense to us over here. Oh, well, let's have restaurants and what we use downstairs, and then let's put residential up above, or business and residence up above, and stack vertically, because we're running out of space horizontally, right? So what they have are a cute potential business down below, or an office, in which we found one with a really awesome courtyard, and it's just super cute. Historical building, of course. And then it has residents up above, or, rental units, Airbnbs, if you will, which are just crushing it there. So these units are anywhere, they go in square meters, but let's just say they're 4,000 or 5,000 square feet, and they're running about $750,000, and they're beautiful. And you step outside, or you step up on your balcony, and you have a view of Acropolis. Like, it's right there. You step out, and there's cobblestone streets. Now, that's all cool. That's amazing. I had one friend of mine say, but Athens is kind of an iffy area. Have you seen all the graffiti? I have seen the graffiti, and all the locals have seen the graffiti, and all the local government and state officials have seen the graffiti. And what they've done is they've embraced the graffiti, something that I couldn't quite comprehend when I got there. I said, like, embrace graffiti, because out here, graffiti, unless you're a unique tagger that's, performing some art, in an approved area, of course, the graffiti out here is violent. It's negative. It's got numbers associated with it, and blocks and territory and consequences if you were to, just bad violence, and it's yuck, and people got this bad feeling about it. And unfortunately, taggers kind of get that bad rap with them as well, and I'm not a tagger, never have been, but I do understand the difference between art and gang stuff. And there's none of that there. Well, at least that I would see. Now, if I was a foreigner coming to the United States and I saw some of the violent gang stuff that we see with the numbers and the X's, and there's zero artistic value to it, more of a numerical or territorial value to it. There was none of that there. It was collages. It was there was some government or patriotic, if you will, banter here and there. I'm sure I couldn't quite understand it all, but I did Google some stuff. And it was all focused on like travel and the government. It wasn't gang related. And I never really got that feeling. I never did. So with that being said, I felt better about the graffiti. I felt like, hey, you know what? This is more of a people, young especially, their voice. This was a modern day sounding board, and they were using the subway. Now, what I did see that was saved from the graffiti was these historical buildings. Now we're talking about like the gateway to Zeus's, area, right? Zeus had his own area, is one of the gods, right? And it was crazy. And these huge monolithic just platforms, just massive granite that have been standing for thousands of years, don't have a piece of graffiti on there. So the artists or the people sharing their view understand that this is not a means of trying to destroy the city, but just by sharing their voice. And so the business owners have incorporated this into their doors of their businesses and allowed it. Now, some artists are better than others, and I think that there are people probably paying some of these guys to come and do this for sure, or just to showcase their artwork. But at any rate, I don't see it going anytime soon. I see the city more or less embracing it and finding ways to improve it. And it didn't turn me off. At first it did, but I did see through it. So with that being said, that was the only really negative thing that I saw about Athens. It reminded me of San Francisco a lot. It really did. But San Francisco has some of those negative things like we've all heard about, and a lot of them are true, but still San Francisco is such a beautiful city, such great architecture, really great people for the most part, and it really gets a bad rap, unfortunately. So Athens feels like San Francisco, but without a lot of that bad rap. So I felt by visiting that area, and after experiencing these things, I didn't feel in danger. I didn't feel I could walk to a certain area. Like nobody told me, Bo, if you're going to be wandering around because you have insomnia and you haven't slept because you have jet lag and you're, wide awake at 2 a.m. And you wander around, don't go down these streets. Not once did I hear that. Great news for me because I like to wander around, and guess what? I did have insomnia and a crazy jet lag. So we feel there is absolute value in Greece. I'm super excited about it. I think it's got tremendous potential, but even better yet, it is the gateway to the rest of Europe. And let me touch on that for a moment. It's only cup number 2, so we have several to go, maybe even one more before this episode is over. We are getting what is known as a golden visa, okay? Now, I know very little about this other than it is something that you're able to obtain after you've spent a certain amount of money in Greece on real estate. Now, what does that do? For me, which I've just Googled this and I've gotten this from our partner out there. This opens up the gateway for us to buy and sell real estate in other countries in Europe. Now, I'm not saying all of them, but key countries. Now, why would we want to invest in any other countries? We're investing in, Greece, right? Kind of a pinnacle area in Europe. Well, I would say Paris, France. The Eiffel Tower is a pretty significant place. As a kid, I always learned about the Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? Not pizza, but that's what we always called it. And I, if I visit Italy, I would say, man, let's go stay a night over there. I heard they, have some cute Airbnbs. Let's do that. There are tons of Airbnbs there. People have thought about this. We don't need to recreate the wheel. Other people in Europe know what they have. They understand that other Europeans come. They understand that Americans come, Chinese come, Japanese come, Australians come, Canadians come. Everybody's coming to these areas. So the locals have said, yes, please, Airbnb. I'm going to turn my great grandma's house into an Airbnb and crush it. So they have limited capital. They're running off of, Airbnb and Verbo platforms, but they lack some of the experience that we've been able to accomplish here. Now, we have dozens and dozens and dozens of homes and Airbnbs that we are able to invest in and have invested in, have owned, and do own. Now, with that experience, we're able to apply that to Greece. We're able to apply that to Italy. We're able to apply that to France. And we absolutely will. There are some areas that will not allow a certain type of ownership, potentially. And we're just going to avoid those areas, right? Our number one goal is to partner with folks and protect our money at all costs. So we're not going to invest in anything that doesn't make absolute sense and have so many layers of protection, right? Another layer of protection is, well, let's say they put a moratorium on Airbnbs. Now, I don't feel that these economies can afford to do that. Now, when you're in, let's say, Lake Tahoe, and you have big casinos with tons of rooms that can accommodate guests, well, then that's an easy moratorium to implement because it's not going to devastate the economy there because they're still able to house that many people. So when you're putting moratoriums on single-family homeowners or multifamily homeowners as individual businesses, because let's say the city council was lobbied by Hilton or whatever it is, the Starwood Alliance or whatever they are, hey, you need to put a stop to this because our hotels are getting vacant. Well, that's not going to happen here because, like I said, they're not clearing, blocks or huge areas to accommodate a 300-room hotel. So these boutique Airbnbs and boutique hotels are where it's at and where it's been for hundreds of years. And so we just want to play our part for a segment of that time. We just want to capitalize for a segment at a time. I'm not going to be here for 1,000 years. You're not going to be here for 1,000 years. But what we are going to be here for is a small period of time in which we're going to want to take our money and make it worth as much as we possibly can, to spend as much as we possibly can, and leave the rest to our family, right? Basically. Now, the time in which this has been going on in Europe far exceeds the time that we've been born or going to be alive, our children or grandchildren. We just want to play our part. So that's what we plan on doing. We're going to take our expertise here in the United States. We're going to apply it at a very, very safe level. Our margins are going to be massive on this. At least 50% of equity stacked on top of us. I want at least a 25% return after all fees are paid if we have an Airbnb. Like, I have some pretty hefty levels and benchmarks here that we need to meet in order for us or for myself to feel basically confident in investing in a European market. So with that being said, I make sure that anything that we get into, I'm looking out for your best interest, because the minute you don't succeed is the minute I don't succeed, and I really hate losing. So with that being said, Europe is an absolute gem. It has been a gem. It just needs to be handled in the right way. Now, I'm not saying that I have flipped homes in Athens and it's going to be the same way. No, but I know how to partner with people that know what they're doing. It's all about relationships and who you know. And then it's basic construction. Yes, we're going to go from a wood stick frame to a concrete masonry construction, which that's fine. We've done plenty of masonry style homes, brick homes. Yes, their brick is about 2,000 years old. Ours is 20 years old. But what is rock, right? And stone, brick, we're dealing with it. We understand the mechanics of it. It's not like they're using anything completely unorthodox. Yes, some unique materials, but overall, it was fairly common materials. I saw a lot of PEX material. PEX is like a plastic piping hosing that you're able to use. It's flexible. You can use it for hot and cold waters and whatnot. And so that is, it's what unique. And, we open up a wall, and we're able to access everything. But over there, everything is stone. So you're getting into a solid wall of masonry and cement. So they take these routers, these big like drills that go sideways, and they get these big gouges out of the wall, and they clear it all out, and then they put their new piping in there, and then they'll plaster it all up. And so, super insulated hoses and everything like that, but flexible and a similar material. So what I'm getting at, guys, is we use the same stuff. We use the same type of humans. We use the same type of materials. We use the same type of target as when we're comparing our ARV. We're using the same things. But what Belwood has is a tremendous amount of resources and the ability to bring them all together harmoniously. That's what brings value to our investors is, hey, yes, I could be doing what Belwood is doing. I could be investing on my own. Yes, you could. Anybody listening to this podcast, yes, you can invest in your own. And you don't need Belwood. But what Belwood does is it just leverages our experience and our expertise and our resources, so you don't have to find those. Like, we've already gone through some really traumatic things, right? We've experienced bad contractors, we've experienced bad sellers, bad buyers, right? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different versions of different things. And so we're able to share that experience with the investor that maybe doesn't have that. So we're able to take this experience, couple it with our veteran partner over in Athens. Jason is just a tremendous friend of ours and was a high-level associate with Home Depot. And so he's going to be heading our operation over there. And we'll be taking trips over there, and we encourage our investors, hey, if you want to invest in Greece, you should go visit it as well, right? These are going to be Airbnbs. Bring your family, bring your friends, contribute to the tourism, which is alive and well. The tourism is alive and well, and the food is amazing. So I love Mediterranean food. Tzatziki sauce, the yogurt with the mint and it's amazing garlic all day long. So anywhere you go, you can get these kebabs with the sauce. So if you're a fan of that type of dining, this is your spot. Right outside of our hotel, they had everything we needed. So very quaint, very, very attractive place, but something that I would suggest any of our investors who are investing in a product overseas or in Europe, I need you to go experience these things for yourself, because then you'll feel so much more comfortable investing in a product with Belwood, because at the end of the day, we're trying to create a more comfortable way of investing, not the opposite. So again, this is our 20th episode. Super stoked. I'm super happy to be sharing all of this experience with you guys. And I look forward to learning more and then sharing that with you as well. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do download, like, and subscribe. And again, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you guys next time.